A .0 release. Can't help but get excited about .0 releases. And as you have heard me mention many times, I love PaperCut software because of the updates. It doesn't stagnate, it's dynamic, constantly changing, updating, upgrading, and improving, all based on user input too, which I think is very cool. Doc Balchi, subject matter expert for ACDI, and glad to have you with me today. Casey Cobb is here too, manning the chat and Q&A. Do locate your chat box as we'll use it with our trivia question. At the end of the presentation, I'll ask a question, and it'll be your chance to win a very cool ACDI t-shirt or polo, so make sure you pay attention. Okay, .0, 19.0. It's already out and available for you, so let's dig in and see what PaperCut's done. The theme for version 19 is helping you become a productive workplace with enhancements in PaperCut to make it even easier to use PaperCut. We'll also help you become a digital workplace with further improvements to scanning. You'll see in just a moment. And finally, PaperCut version 19 is here to help you become a simplified workplace. There are a lot of exciting things in mind for this .0 release, and you'll see many items coming into play throughout the year that meet these objectives. Make sure you stay tuned to ACDI for all the updates, and even subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll be notified of the postings. This webinar will be placed up there very soon, and all of our past ones are just a couple of clicks away. So let's get digital and talk about optical character recognition. That will help you become more productive. And guess what? It's really simple too. Why do I say that? Because it's in the cloud, so you don't even have to think about it. PaperCut's Cloud OCR is now available on all devices that have integrated scanning capabilities. While there is no extra charge for scanning and using this new feature, it's only available for customers that have active M&S. That's right, it's in the cloud. So we can move the processing of OCR, which can be very processor intensive, move the processing of OCR to the cloud for simple and productive conversions. Why do we want to OCR a document? So we can search for text and words inside of the document. That makes us more productive. When Cloud OCR was in the percolator, there was only one PaperCut cloud-hosted server, and it's right here in the United States. Now that this digital feature is out of the percolator and we're drinking in the benefits, there are two additional sites that have been deployed, one in Australia and one in Germany. And you have the option to choose which server you want to talk to with a simple drop-down. Here's some more good news to make us more productive. Multi-language OCR support as well, with about 100 languages to choose from. And you'll notice a comment that this is available for cloud and on-premise. The on-premise version of OCR is in the percolator with version 19. Again, available with active M&S. If your customer is adamant about not using cloud services or just wants things locally, then they'll be able to do it. Again, in the percolator with version 19, so test away. Here's a screenshot of what you'll see in PaperCut, and at the bottom are more things headed your way down the road with scanning enhancements of page splitting and despeckle are coming soon. How cool is that? There's also info about the on-premise OCR I just mentioned and a simple form to fill out if you're interested in checking it out. Remember, you need active M&S to use Cloud OCR. Very important, and I do want you to remember that as you might need it later. You'll also need to have version 19 running, and port 9181 will need to be open for both inbound and outbound communication. And speaking of cloud scanning, you do know that your active M&S subscription also provides scan-to-cloud storage, right? Devices that have integrated scanning now have the ability to scan to pCloud and Evernote. This really expands our portfolio of connections to make things productive and simple for you in this digital world that we live in. In most cases, scans are placed in a Scans folder with a repository. Evernote will be placing theirs in a Scans for PaperCut MF notebook with the document name becoming the name of the note. Let's make you more productive by showing you the new account selection at the device. New for version 19 on select manufacturers. Many OEMs now provide the functionality to choose an account at the MFD when releasing print jobs. Of course, this is an MF-only offering, not an NG, as this refers to device integration. There are still reasons to use the client, but could be an alternative in some cases. This cannot be used with non-hold release queues, standalone devices, release stations, or a fast release terminal, and not necessarily a replacement for the advanced account pop-up or manage mode client. Here's the list of compatible OEMs: HP OXP, Konica Minolta iOption, Kyocera, Toshiba MDS, Ricoh's Smart SDK, Sharp OSA's new HTML Browser 2.0, and Xerox Secure Access EIP 1.5 and above, as well as the Fuji Xerox APO Sport lineup. When releasing a print job at the MFD which doesn't have an account listed to it, an error message is going to be displayed informing the user that an account must be selected. The user will need to navigate to the details screen and select an account prior to releasing the job. The account selection prompt will automatically appear. The account will be applied to all print jobs being released without an account. If account confirmation is enabled on the device, the user will be presented with a confirmation screen. Alternatively, the user is still able to select an account for each print job in the details screen. Here's a new config key to take note of: release-station.allow-account-selection. The default should be on, and you can limit this to work with mobility print only if that is the use case. Also, a few gotchas. Let's get these out of the way. Two other config keys that can be set or changed, and important info about delegated print release. Changing the account at the MFD is only available by the job's owner and not a delegate. Also cannot use manager mode release. You will not be able to release that job until an account has been applied. Keep in mind you can always use the web client too. That's located at the server host :9191/client. The users have always had that capability. A couple of more things for this: incompatible devices will not show print jobs waiting for account selection, and an auto release will not work if at least one job does not have an account. These jobs will now conform to the standard hold time that you've set up, the typical default of about 2 hours, instead of the shorter timeout for print jobs. You still may want or need the client, for instance, advanced account selections like searching, cost adjustments, and favorites. And with the new pricing model, advanced clients are all available now for all users at no additional charge. That's productivity. If you need manage mode account selections, you will still need the client. And as mentioned just before, if you need to use a delegated print release, then you'll want to use the client. And the same thing for auto release login. Job ticketing, like mobility print, gets updated in the background as part of a continuous delivery system, all part of helping you to become a digital workplace. Continual delivery is an important computing concept that allows for the software to be always updated without user intervention. Let's use Microsoft Office as an example. With Office 365, you get that as a subscription, and it updates itself. That is a continuous delivery concept, and the same thing will be happening more often now with PaperCut. I noticed this just prior to the version 19 release: operator notifications. Continuous delivery provided the update, and there it was. A communication problem in job ticketing was that if an end user replied to a ticket, it only showed there, and the operator would physically need to open that ticket to check for a comment. Now you have notifications to alert you if an order has changed. This is done on a per-room basis, not per user, and will be triggered upon comments from users and changes to orders. Like many notification products, you'll be able to mark as read or unread if you need to come back to it. We've also had comments about admins and operators in job ticketing, and there wasn't a good way to formally make a PaperCut user an admin or operator except by adding some appropriate rights. Now there are checkboxes in the admin of PaperCut, and please note that if you change access, you'll need to restart the job ticketing service if you want it to go into effect right away. Otherwise, it can take up to 24 hours for PaperCut to reset the token on its own. Another job ticketing feature that came out just prior to version 19 are the new mini print rooms that are available at a lower cost. These are limited to 5 products and 3 workflow elements and do not provide cost estimates of the job. These are perfect for a small print shop that really just needs to track the jobs going into the print center. Many schools are set up with a print center, but not charging for the jobs. They just need them accounted for, so this will come in handy in those opportunities. On to new stuff with Mobility Print in version 19. Check this out. If you've worked with Mobility Print, then you know PaperCut uses MDNS or DNS-SD to discover the printers on the end user's device. There's a new addition where you can specify the PaperCut application server address as well as the printer list to be pushed to the device so they don't need to discover. Everything will be available for them. Plus, the installers for Windows and Mac have the server address in the installer, so they won't have to look for the server. They'll just know where it's at. The server address can also be pushed from G Suite to Chromebooks, and soon this will be included in an APK to use with Android devices. Stay tuned for that update. If there are multiple mobility queues and you're using a Windows device, then you would have to add them one by one. Well, now to simplify everything, you can select multiple drivers to install all at once. That is productivity. One of the secrets behind Mobility Print is turning the print job into a PDF for easy delivery to a printer or MFP. Previously, with a Windows print job, the job needed to be converted to PDF in the workflow. However, now with version 19.0, that step is bypassed. It's already in digital format, so we'll use what we have. A new innovation in this version is the ability to allow anyone to print from a Chromebook without using credentials, like a guest account. In the background, a single PaperCut account will be created and used for this purpose. The end user doesn't get an authentication pop-up, so they're good to go, and all of the jobs are tracked against that user. Changing the printer file, as notated, will turn this functionality on. Other Chromebook changes include using AES 256-bit encryption when jobs are sent from a Chromebook to the server. The latest PaperCut extension is needed for that, and you can just click on the link for more information. Oh yeah, this is a webinar. Well, grab a screenshot or review the video after we post it on the ACDI YouTube site. I'll even talk for a little bit longer if you want to jot it down. There was also a change on the Google side that will break the sign in with Google button. We had originally heard that the deadline was last month, but last I heard it's been extended to June, but please don't officially quote me on that. If your customer is using the sign in with Google feature and it's not working anymore, then you now know what to do. This has a lot to do with Google Plus being dissolved, and that's why we need to make this change. There are some updates with payment gateways in version 19. The TouchNet OneCard API gateway is new, and it's a replacement for the Heartland gateway. Authorize.net now supports SHA-256 as MD5 is phasing out, and RealX payment support for 3DS is coming soon. Keeping with the digital updates, let's talk a bit about SNMP version 3. I have to admit, I did not know the PIE, DIE acronyms, and I had to ask one of my trusted PaperCut partners what it was. I didn't want him to spill the beans on me, but I'm telling you now, so it's all good. PIE is printer in error, and DIE is device in error. These are PaperCut acronyms and why my personal assistant couldn't find it. Anyway, there's support now for errors with SNMP version 3, and you can still configure Xerox devices. For security-conscious customers that have switched off SNMP version 1 and 2, this now enables PaperCut to block the release of jobs when there's an error of some kind. Also, we'll report toner on supported devices. There are new server commands available, config keys, and tons of updates to the embedded device manuals. I used to keep all of the device manuals on my local drive, but stopped doing that long ago. As PaperCut is always updating, so are the manuals. So now I suggest always pulling the manual from the portal whenever you need to refer to something. Same thing for the device matrix. Always pull the latest off the portal, constantly updating. Here's a list of those new server commands. I'm not going to read them all. You can see these in the knowledge base, of course. And the new config keys are also listed here, too. Finally, some bits and bobs about SNMP. I gave you the PaperCut acronyms, so PIE and DIE make sense here. There are some specific device changes, but the bottom line is you can turn off SNMP 1 and 2 if you want to, and still have functionality with PaperCut. PaperCut runs on Java, and it runs on its own version of Java, independent of the operating system. Matter of fact, you don't have to have Java running at all, which is good because some sysadmins don't like running Java. So PaperCut runs it internally, and it's been running on Java 8 for some time. Java 8 is now end of life, so PaperCut will be moving to Java 11. Now, back in PaperCut version 18 last year, a 64-bit server was required, but 32-bit clients were still supported and available. With this change, everything is 64-bit. The only issue you're going to have is older legacy computers, and I really hope it's not running on XP, but some of the old legacy computers that are running on 32-bit architecture. So keep that in mind when you're creating your deployment plan and your SOW. Your customer doesn't necessarily need to worry about it if they're doing an upgrade, as older 32-bit clients will still work. They just aren't shipped with version 19 and going forward. Also in Java 11 are updates to TLS 1.3 and an altered handshake with TLS 1.2. Here's the device updates. On Sharp, there's a new embedded that supports the latest Sharp browser platform. It's a really nice, clean change on the Sharp devices, and this adds the ability to change print job settings at the device level, too. Now, this has been available on Toshiba MDS, Xerox, HP OXP, and the Konica Minolta iOption series. Now, with Sharp and also Kyocera, there's the ability to scan additional pages or a new document without going back to the home screen. Just as it says. Let's see who has this. Konica Minolta, soon to be on other platforms, and you can toggle this on or off. This allows an end user to put the PaperCut screen in language that they would prefer. It doesn't affect the device settings, only the PaperCut screens. Very handy in bilingual or more situations. I was the president of the local school council in Chicago many years ago, and I think there were 5 different languages spoken in just that one school. So this could come in handy in a lot of different places. Well, I hope this gave you a little bit to think about. Remember, it's a .0 release, so you can always expect lots of great stuff. And guess what? It was released just a couple of days ago, so available now. I think you can see how the theme of helping you to become more of a digital, productive, and simplified workplace is ringing true to your ears. I know it is mine, or perhaps that's just the tinnitus. I'm sure it was that Who concert in the late 70s I had front row tickets for. And anyway, enough for now. Let's wrap things up for today. Stay tuned, as always, to ACDI for the point releases during the rest of the year. I've had a preview of what's coming, and all I can say is hold on to your hats. We'll see you at the next one. I'm the doctor for ACDI.